So, how did you carry the unbearable truth while pretending everything was picture perfect?
About 10 or 11, when I started poking myself with pins. I used to poke myself with pins to feel better. I am a walking miracle, truthfully. I know that about myself.
How did you carry the unbearable truth while pretending everything was picture perfect?
I internalized it. And I acted out a lot as a young woman and a teenager. When I was young, very young, I was like 10 yeah, about 10 or 11, when I started poking myself with pins. I used to poke myself with pins to feel better, little heads, little straight pins. I would do poke, and every time I'd watch the blood come up, I would feel a little better. As I grew older, I started actually cutting. So I think that was part of it. I turned it into self-harm. I turned It's easier for a child to hate themselves than to hate their parents.
And I do agree with, not necessarily agree, but what you were doing, that simple act of self harm, was possibly letting the pain out.
That's what I write, and that's exactly how I felt and what I write. It lets some of the pain out. That's how everything became less unbearable because it was that moment of physical pain and the cutting, and it's very addictive. It becomes a habit because it's a way to deal with things. So as a young person, young girl, that's how I dealt with it. I also acted out a bit with boys, and I did the best I could, but I tried, I luckily was a good student, and that helped me a lot. And I loved my books. I wrote a lot, even as a kid. But I didn't write about the truth. I even had a diary with a fake character named Emily, who had a much better life than I did. My diary. I think, and I disassociated a lot too, as a kid when my father abused me, but otherwise I realized I kind of lived in a little little bubble. That's the best way to put it. But that as I have gotten older and I've read more about this, I think all of the actions I did, and I've talked to other survivors, are similar. I mean, everyone's story is different, but some of the actions are similar. And which is why I really am a proponent of, if a child is, at this place, Stewart House I go, or other places like that, getting children into therapy so earlier can help a good therapist can help the trajectory of the pain, help the trajectory of their lives. I am a walking miracle, truthfully. I know that about myself.
Thank God for that. And that was your way of coping, was your coping mechanism. All the things you just said now, writing, channeling your energy to writing, and then self-harm.
And doing well in school also, because it gave me a focus, like a place. I loved school, always. It was a place to focus,
Okay, thank you. Be safe and be positive. And don't forget to check out our social media handles. Thank you. Bye for now.